who love sherehe. I'll be telling you about that and so much more in just a while. Talk to me on 111 444 111. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Switch TV Kenya. My Twitter handle is at Fred Mutiriri, and my sign language interpreter tonight is Teresia Washira. But first, the highlights. President Uhuru Kenyatta extends dusk to dawn curfew for another 60 days. It's a reprieve for Kenyans as the president retains tax reliefs. Schools reopen amidst confusion as the president says Ministry of Education will be giving more guidelines on resumption. Now, the dusk to dawn curfew, coronavirus curfew, has been extended from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. Currently, restaurants and pubs will be operational till 10 p.m. The president has also said that Kenya's coronavirus infection rate is at 4.4%, but has warned Kenyans that Kenya is not off the mark yet, off the hook yet, due to fears of second waves.
Direct and announce as follows. 1. That the nationwide curfew enforced throughout the territory of the Republic of Kenya is extended for a further 60 days. 2. That the commencement time for the nationwide curfew is varied from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Therefore, effective tomorrow, Tuesday, the 29th of September 2020, the nationwide dusk to dawn curfew will run from 11 o'clock at night to 4 o'clock in the morning. 3. That the prohibition against the operation of bars and the prohibition against the sale of alcoholic drinks and beverages by ordinary restaurants and eateries shall stand vacated with effect from the 29th of September 2020. Unaweza kukunywa pombe, sawa. 4. That the closing time for all bars and restaurants and eateries shall be 10 p.m. every day with effect from the 29th of September 2020, and their operations shall be with strict adherence to the applicable guidelines and protocols issued by the Ministry of Health. 5. That in line with the recommendations of the Interfaith Council, the permitted maximum size of religious gatherings is increased to 1/3 of its normal sitting capacity, but with strict adherence to all applicable guidelines and protocols issued by the Ministry of Health. 6. That the permitted maximum number of persons attending funerals and weddings is reviewed upwards from 100 to 200, but with strict adherence to all applicable guidelines and protocols issued by the Ministry of Health.
Meanwhile, President Uhuru Kenyatta has said that schools will reopen fully when the country has well laid down guidelines on the safety of students. Addressing the nation on the status regarding reopening of the country, the president has said and urged Kenyans not to focus on the resumption of schools, but the safety of everyone.
The lives of our children and their health is not a matter for debate. Learning institutions, therefore, should only be reopened when we have and can sufficiently guarantee the safety of all our children. And here, I really would plead with Kenyans, let us not focus ourselves on when schools will reopen, but how shall these schools open in a manner that protects our children and protects their lives and their health. Tafadhali, tusiwe tunapigana juu ya mambo ambaye, let us think first about their health and well-being, and once we have established how, then together we will agree when. So therefore, the resumption of in-person learning must be predicated on strict adherence to the health protocols and guidelines as issued by the Ministry of Health. So therefore, I call upon the Cabinet Secretary for Education, once we have agreed on the how, he will thereafter immediately issue a calendar for the resumption of the 2020 academic year, if it is to be, or if it is going to be 2021.
Now, in a bid to promote the growth of small business enterprises, which were highly hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, President Uhuru Kenyatta has advised the retention of various tax reliefs. The move came in as part of the COVID-19 economic stimulus package to Kenyans.
Treasury considers retaining the VAT at 14% until the 1st of July 2021. 2, that the National Treasury considers retaining the income tax rates, pay as you earn, at 25% until the 1st of January 2021. 3, that the National Treasury considers retaining the resident income tax, which is corporate tax, at 25% until the 1st of January 2021. And 4, that to continue cushioning low-income earners, the National Treasury maintains the 100% tax relief for persons earning a gross monthly income of up to Kenya shillings 24,000 beyond the sunset date of 31st December 2020.
Now, Attorney General Paul Kihara Kariuki has reiterated that the process of bringing to book those who were alleged to have swindled money at the KEMSA is almost complete. Kihara, who was speaking during the today's COVID-19 response conference opened by President Uhuru Kenyatta at the KICC here in Nairobi.
We remain very focused about what policies we need to put in place. Of course, the various measures that CS Yatani has talked about, and the Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, they will not have had the force of law if we did not remain engaged.
I want to say that with this onset, of course it was in our plans, but it accelerated the process. We started e-filing because it was dangerous to have documents being filed physically and delivered to our courts.
But there's something that we've learned from this, Mr. President. There's over-reliance on imports in our country. It's risky and dangerous. When the world shuts down, like the world is shut down, you find yourself in a situation where you're completely helpless. That's the reason why we're saying that made in Kenya and made for Kenya should not just be a slogan, but it must be something that we want to realize.
Now, primary and secondary schools teachers return to schools today to prepare to receive learners. Once the Education Ministry announces return dates, the proposal floated by the Ministry of Education on reopening have been opposed by some people who think it's a rash decision. From the teachers, it's too long. They have reiterated that they are ready for reopening. On the other hand, KUPPET's Teachers Union, led by their chairperson Mboko Milemba, says that there are no funds for hand sanitizers, water and shortage of classrooms to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Enter classes at St. George's Girls High School, you notice the restrictions on distancing that have been put in place. The pavements have been marked with footprints showing where the students will be standing when they go to class. The principal, Lucy Rukunga, is urging the government to give a clear reopening strategy in order for the schools to prepare adequately.
We've been hearing of the challenges of the social distancing. It's a little challenge because we don't have enough classrooms, we don't have enough dormitories, but because we are managers on the ground, if the children are coming back, we are going to do whatever is in our means to make sure the children are safe.
At the Westlands Primary School, it's silence. On a normal day, pupils are always running and playing. This tells you of the effect that the pandemic has caused. According to the principal, Frederick Nyangla, their school is ready for resumption. However, he's concerned over the population of the schools and wants measures put in place to control the huge numbers of students.
Well, the only challenge we have in school, and maybe our school as well, is social distancing. And the social distancing is a challenge because we still have the same number of rooms. And maybe what I can suggest is if the children are coming back, probably they will come back in shifts so that we have a group that we are able to handle, keeping the distance.
It's a clear-cut difference between most public schools and some private schools. Most private schools have been having their classes online for months now, and they have prepared themselves adequately for the resumption of classes physically. At St. Mary's School, there have been plans on resumption. Construction of taps for washing hands have been set up. The principal is confident that they will be able to deal with the numbers once physical learning resumes.
Before the classes start, we shall expect that the class teachers are able to take the temperatures of all the learners and we record them. Already we have the data of the parents' contacts against the students. So in that case, in case of anything, in case of any problem, we shall be able to contact our parents immediately.
As students await a date of reopening, there has been reconstruction of structures in schools in order to fit the protocol set by the Health Ministry. But now teachers are calling on the government to give a clear protocol on reopening of schools when they fully resume. Nyakundi Kelvin, Switch TV.
And thank you, Kevin Nyakundi. Now we take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Talk to me on 111 444 111. Tell me, what do you make of this speech earlier on by President Uhuru Kenyatta? Talk to me on 111 444 111. You can log on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. You'll find us as Switch TV Kenya. A quick break. We'll be back with more. And welcome back now to the question of the day. Are you content with the new measures announced by the president today? Are you content with the new measures announced by the president today? Talk to me on 111 444 111 or comment on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube as Switch TV Kenya. Now, moving on. Kenyatta National Hospital health workers have today downed their tools, accusing the Salaries and Remuneration Commission of failing to implement the 7A clause made in 2012, which elevated the status of KNH to a parastatal, and thus they should have increased their salaries. They accuse the SRC for not implementing the pay rise. As Kennedy Kimani reports, the health workers have vowed not to go back to work until SRC gives a letter advising Kenyatta National Hospital to increase their payments.
Carrying placards and with no observance of social distancing measures, the Kenyatta National Hospital health workers came out in large numbers protesting in front of the largest referral health facility in the country, demanding that the Salaries and Remuneration Commission honor the implementation of the 2012 salary structure.
We have been bearing quite a lot. With the COVID, we decided to stay put. Kenyatta was moved from 3C to 7A. And when it was moved, that is a promotion. So there's no promotion that comes without money.
The Kenya National Union of Nurses Secretary General Seth Panyako has said that the money was already released by the National Treasury and they will not have any engagements until they receive a letter from the SRC.
Hii pesa ni lazima ilipwe hivi sasa, na kama sio sasa ni hivi sasa hivi. Kwa hivyo naambia wale wako ndani ya serikali kwamba hii ni aibu kubwa, kwamba mnaruhusu SRC ambayo yuko na watu wengine hatujui walipitia wapi, wengine hawajawahi fanya katika serikali ya umma, wametoka katika binafsi na ndio hawaelewi nini inaendelea Kenyatta.
In the year 2012, the SRC evaluated all government agencies in the country, including referral hospitals such as KNH, which upgraded from level 3C to 7A, consequently elevating all the employees to a different salary scale. The SRC, however, halted the implementation and recategorization process, saying that moving hospitals to a higher level did not include a salary review. The health workers now call for the disbandment of SRC, accusing it of bias in discharging their duties.
Na tumechoka na huu mchezo wa paka na panya na SRC. For the longest time possible, SRC has been frustrating public sector workers. You cannot say that you are not going to be involved in negotiations, but on the back end, you're the ones who's giving the prescription on what needs to be paid.
With the country battling the COVID-19 pandemic, the strike comes as a big blow to Kenyans seeking health services at the country's largest referral hospital that has been a key player in the fight against coronavirus. Kennedy Kimani, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Now, families affected by rabies are calling upon the government to vaccinate all dogs for free. This is as today we mark the world in celebrating the Rabies Day. The theme of the year is End Rabies. Collaborate, vaccinate. Joel Chacha filed the following story.
Dogs are man's best friend, they say, and they are prominent in our lives and we share a special bond. But rabies can easily tear that bond to pieces. We visit Makueni County, which has one of the highest rates of rabies in Kenya, and also it is the pilot area showing critical elements to success of elimination of rabies, with the county still known for spearheading devolution. In the outskirts of Wote town, in this home, we meet Masi Mudhoki, a resident of Ntangu, who narrates how a rabid dog robbed them the only cow they were depending on.
Saa venye hiyo mbwa ilikuja, ikaumwa hiyo ng'ombe. Ng'ombe tu ilikufa. Tulikuwa tunapata mapato kutoka kwa hiyo ng'ombe. Tulikuwa tunauza maziwa. Saa venye hiyo ng'ombe ilikufa, tukaacha kukamua ng'ombe.
It has remained a deserted cowshed. For 4 years now, they've been unable to afford another cow. And with the coronavirus here with us, they're feeling the pinch of rabies. Not far from this homestead, the home of Jen Musioka, we are welcomed by the barking of these 3 dogs and sending an alert to the homeowner. Her case is no different from that of Mudhoki's home, as she was forced to kill her own dog after samples were collected and tested by a veterinarian after her goat was bitten by a rabid dog.
Nilikuwa na ng'ombe moja ilikuwa mgonjwa, lakini sikuwa najua mbeleni, lakini kijana mwenye anachunga na kaniita akaniambia ikuli, na mimi nikatoka nikaenda nikaangalia. Kuenda kuangalia nikakuta imesimama mahali hivi, na kuniona ni kama nataka kukimbia. Sasa tukaangalia tukaona iko na shida, tukasema hiyo inaweza kuwa imeuma na kitu, ndio tukaita daktari. Hiyo mbwa ilikuwa na hiyo kisa tumeua.
Dog bite cases keep piling up in this area, and Bishop Benjamin Mwai's son follows the same trend. 3 years ago, his son, who is now 13 years, was bitten by a dog in a case that left the whole village in shock.
Huyo mtoto aumwe na mbwa, akiona mbwa anakimbia na anaogopa mbwa.
According to data from the Ministry of Health, there were 293,901 dog bites reported in 2019. Of these, 1,042 were suspected rabies cases, while 180 persons died from rabies. On average, there are 2,000 rabies deaths annually, as documented in the 2014-2030 Elimination of Human Rabies Strategic Plan. According to Dr. Emily Mudoga from the World Animal Protection, she describes rabies as a viral disease that causes inflammation of the brain in humans and other mammals.
If you've been bitten along the neck or the head, like you see in many children, if treatment is not immediate, and I said all cases treatment has to be immediate, then within 2 to 3 weeks, the person will succumb to rabies. But if you're bitten on the hand or on the leg, because of the distance it has to take to travel up your nerve system to the brain, it has been shown that from bite to death can take 3 months, and the longest recorded is 3 years.
Makueni Director of Veterinary Services Daniel Kse shares how they embarked on vaccination and community reach-out projects.
Like we were picking one teacher per ward, what we call wards. And then that teacher, when we train them, we help them or facilitate them to train a number of teachers in various schools in that ward.
According to experts, in comparison to other communicable diseases, rabies is preventable yet incurable. Therefore, a focus should be given to control. Joel Chacha, Switch TV, Watertown, Makueni County.
Thank you, Joel. Now, Kenya has harsh penalties for those caught manufacturing, selling, importing, or using single-use plastics. Yet, the country still struggles to reduce its waste. Notably, the public has changed attitude towards their view on plastic bags and their usage in relation to environment. Moreover, there has been visible cleanliness in most towns that previously used to be dotted with plastic carrier bags and hanging loosely on buildings and trees. 80% compliance with the plastic bag ban has been recorded. Our reporter, Andrew Okero, has been following on this story and filed this special feature, the Bag Ban Journey.
On 28th of August 2017, Professor Jude Wahungu, the former Minister for Environment and Forestry, declared a ban on single-use plastic bags in the country and introducing high penalties for defaulters, ranked the harshest in the world.
The reason we want to phase this out is, again, to provide a healthy environment. I want to repeat and to reiterate that plastic polythene bags are pollutants, they are toxics, and they affect our health negatively. That is the whole purpose.
The plastic bag ban led to a loss of jobs, years of investment, and some manufacturers closed their businesses and others relocated to other countries.
Kwenye hii business kama hii yangu, tuseme saa hii kama niko na baadhi, nikiweka kwenye hiyo makaratasi nyepesi inakuanga nzuri kwa sababu customer wanasiona kwa mbali.
Hiyo karatasi ungepata kwa shilingi 30, lakini yenye imekuja hivi karibuni inauzwa kwa shilingi 120.
However, it has also brought new business opportunities.
Nafikiria kwa upande mwingine sisi kwetu imeleta savings. Kwa sababu paper bags zilikuwa risk kuraruka, but for this one ya saizi you can reuse it.
But we ask them to innovate because that is not the only line of production. They can innovate, they can bring biodegradable bags, they can make reusable bags. So we're asking the industries to innovate, ensure that you come up with the relevant material that can be used by the public.
A research sanctioned by NEMA in 2018 on prevalence of plastic bags in the ruminants of slaughtered.
That particular feature is going to run tomorrow, same time at 7 p.m. And we'll be running it on Wednesday at 1 p.m. in Kiswahili. For today, we cut it short. I'll be bringing you the full episode of all the way in Machakos and various towns in Kenya, where Andrew Okero visited.